Hey there, this is Katherine. I am sharing a new kit that I got from Diamond Press. I purchased this on HSN. It is part of an auto ship program they just released this month in March, and it's called BU. It's super, super cute, and it's all about the bees and hexagons. You get 2 pages of instructions, of front and back colored instructions, and then also they've got the images printed out to show you what they look like. You get these little banner dies, all these different words, believe, bee's knees. So you can say, don't worry, be happy, you are one in a bazillion. Super, super cute. So many ways to, excuse me, to use those. You also get a Slimline envelope and a bunch of foam squares to use to cut out for your shakers that are front and back adhesive on those. So you get a good amount of those for this to make the shaker cards. And here are the stamp sets that are super cute. I love the little beehive that is on there, and then there's several flowers as well, and you'll see all those great sentiments and lots of big bees, and especially that large honeycomb. I love, 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 love that. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that's. I don't care about the rest of the kit. I need that stamp. And then I'm going to show you the dies that you get. You get, of course, the Slimline die that cuts out 5 hexagons, and it has this beautiful stitch detail. So nice. Those are the dies to cut the foam out, and then you've got coordinating dies that will go with a lot of the images. And this one is the flower confetti. Super, super cute. You also get some acetate and the cutting plate for that. So I'm going to walk you through this first card, and then I've got several more after that I'm just going to have music for. So this first one, I'm going to start by what I've been loving doing lately is when I get a stamp set, I just stamp a bunch of them on coloring paper that's alcohol friendly, and I like to use that. So then I can have lots of them to choose from. When I want to make a card. So I'll just go ahead and stamp a bunch. And then when I feel like coloring, I've got them ready to go if I want to color in front of the TV or whatever. So I found that, making a couple of sheets of things to color when I get a new stamp set, when inspiration strikes, I'm ready. So I'm going to start this card by running my paper, just white cardstock, through my Diamond Press machine, and it cuts out beautifully. And again, it has this awesome stitch detail that I like a lot. And you're going to get, you can really see it right there. It's so pretty. You're going to have all these extra hexagons, so hold on to them because you can always do something else with them. We don't want to throw that stuff away, for sure. And I'm going to stamp this one with my Versamark pad to do some embossing. I found this beautiful yellow embossing powder. It's glittery from Hero Arts. I know I got this in a previous card kit probably many, many months ago, and I thought that would be super fun. So I was going to do the whole card, and then when I stamped it, I thought, well, let me just try doing half of it. Let's see how it looks. And I'm super happy. It looked very cute. So I'm going to, this glitter embossing powder takes a little bit longer, I think, than traditional powder to heat up, and it's also a little bit harder to see. So it's going to take me a few more seconds to make sure that I've got it all. But boy, you can see all that glitter. It is so pretty, and it really is this bright, cheerful yellow. And so that's going to be the kind of jumping off point for this card. I'm going to use some light blue cardstock behind it. I cut it a little bit smaller than the Slimline piece. I think the Slimline piece is 3 inches by 8 inches. So when you have a finished card, it will be 3.5 by 8.5. So I cut it just a little bit smaller than that. You can cut it exactly the same, but I tend to not glue together correctly sometimes and always have a little bit hanging over. So I decided to err on caution and just have a little bit less paper around there. So I'm just taking a moment and working on laying out. There are instructions, and I'm not really sure if I'm following the instructions. I'll be honest. I'm just kind of putting it together. But I'm going to cut the acetate with the larger hexagon dies, and it tells me how to do it through the diamond press if I use that machine. So I'm going to run it through with that metal plate. That just allows it to bite and cut through that acetate, because the acetate won't cut really unless you have a shim underneath and that metal plate. So that will help you get it done. And then I'm going to take the rest of those and cut out all of my acetate. I did that off camera. I'm laying them out, just going to glue those down. And then I've also got the foam shaker pieces. You can see that on the left hand side. That's from those kind of funny looking dies that have the inside and the outside. So that gives you your frame for that. So I'm going to use some liquid glue and let these dry. There are 5 of them, and I've got all the different sizes already cut out. So I'm going to glue those down. Those have dried. Now I have my frames that I've already cut as well. And you'll see on that left hand side, you've got the centers left. Don't throw those away. You can use those to pop things up, or on my next card, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with mine. So hold on and wait for that. Wait for the exciting conclusion, I should say. So I've got all of these framed up, and what I'm going to do here is I was trying to think of a way. Again, there's probably proper instructions and in that come with the packet, but I just decided to put a little pencil mark kind of in the center where those hexagons are going to be, and that is where I'm going to make my little stacks of confetti. I've got this adorable flower confetti die. Oh my goodness, I'm in love with it. It is really, really cute. And then you get the little centers too, so that it kind of makes an extra little bit of confetti, which is fun. So I cut this out of a bright yellow cardstock. I'm going to lay those out and just put a few in each kind of area. And then I'm going to pull out some of my shaker stash. I've got these shaker bits from Martha Stewart that I've had for years. I know they sell them in Michael's. I'm not sure if they still have them anymore, but I know that's where I purchased them. And so I've got some yellow hearts and some blue hearts to keep with my theme of yellow and blue. And then I'm going to go back and just take a second to erase that pencil mark. A couple of them were larger than others. You probably wouldn't even see them, but a couple of them I made kind of big, so I needed to go back and erase them. I've taken some of that extra foam and added that to the back in addition to the frame to give it kind of an even shape with the foam, and you can see that it shakes beautifully. So next I'm going to take a little bit of time to color my bees that were included in this set. I'm just using 2 yellows, Y13, and I think the other one is Y19. Doing a really quick simple color, and then I'm going to add a little bit of light blue to the wings, and then I'm going to finish off with C7. Instead of doing just all black, I decided to do a darker gray to finish his legs off and his head. I'm going to use that same B01 for the center of my flower, and then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to the inside, again keeping with my theme. So I'm just kind of laying out where I think I want things to go, and I'm going to use some grosgrain blue ribbon that matches that cardstock, and I'm going to trim those ends off and leave that right there. And then I'm going to attach my flower at the bottom on that white space, and then I've got the 2 bees kind of floating around up in the hive. And so, oh my goodness, I just love that background stamp. I'm going to finish this one off with a hello. Love those banners, great size. And then you have all those sentiments that go with it. So I'm going to pop this one up And then I will add this onto not an A2, this is a Slimline card base. I don't know if it has a number actually, but it's 3.5 by 8.5. So you can make that out of your cardstock. So that's the first one. And then I'm going to talk a bit about the foil on this next one. I had this foil kit from Diamond Press that I purchased. I think they had a big sale back in the fall that I purchased some of, and I haven't used yet. And I decided with those extra hexagons that I had that I would just make a really clean and simple card with the foil, try it out, and then go from there. So I've laid out all those extra hexagons that I had. I'm going to trim any edges that went over. And this stitch die is just from another company. I can't remember the Slimline. But I'm going to start laying my foil on top of those foam pieces. And I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of burnish that on there. And it stuck pretty well. I thought it looked pretty good, certainly for just a quick and easy card. You get a lot of color with it, with these bright colors, the blue and the purple and the pink. So I'm just going to finish these up. It's very quick and easy, and again, it picks up most of the color pretty clearly. And I like foil because foil can be challenging, and this is a quick and easy way to apply it by just adding it to something that's got adhesive on both sides. So I've got some ribbon here that I'm going to tie on there. It's a guava, which is a bright pink that I thought worked well with that bright pink. Of course, I cut my ribbon too short, but I'm going to make it work because it's one of my favorite color ribbons. So I cannot possibly waste it. So I've got to make it work with those little tiny tails. But again, it's one of my favorites. So I'm very cautious with it. Okay, so I've got this glued down. I just glued it onto another white card base. And I've got a black banner that I embossed with a silver pearl embossing powder, and I'm going to add that onto my left hand side, and that is it. So I was able to reuse those hexagon pieces and some of my foil. So this next card, I'm going to pull out a piece of this very, very favorite paper that was in a paper stack, I think from Die Cuts with a View. I think I have two of them that came in the pack, and this is the one piece from that set, and I'm just, it's killing me to use it, but it works perfectly for this because if I could get 100 pieces of it, I would have it. It is so perfect and pretty with these gorgeous hexagons of the gold. But anyway, I'm going to part with it and use it on this card. So I've run that through, and now I decided I'm going to fill some of my hexagons. And don't throw away your hexagons. I'm going to use those up in the top right corner on the next card as well. So I'm just kind of looking through to see where the sentiments might fit, what sentiments might fit, and how it would look on my card. So I'm going to choose You Are Sweet as Honey. And I've inked it up with black ink, and I almost got it. Thankfully, that press stamp positioner allows me to go back and fix it. Now, I apologize. This got out of focus somehow. Not real sure what happened. But you can see I've got some yellow cardstock that I stamped in black, and I have die cut. I've got a little beehive at the bottom. I've got one of the flowers, and then also a bee. And so I'm sorry it's blurry. I tried to fix it, but it is what it is. But you can sort of see, and you'll see a picture at the end of what it actually looks like. But I also layered this onto a piece of matte foil cardstock that I had in my craft stash, and then I'm going to add this onto a black Slimline card. And that is it on this one. Very sweet, but you get a lot of gold bling out of it. So I was super happy about that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of, I've got some diamond stickles that I'm going to add just a little touch onto the wings, onto the beehive, and to the top of the flower. Now I'm going to move on to the hexagons that were left. I've got an A2 size card that I'm going to make on this one. This paper is a little bit smaller. It's 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to layer that on to a bigger card base, but it will end up being an A2. So I'm just laying those out. I'm going to trim down the little bit hanging over. I had one more of those bees that I stamped on a yellow cardstock in black ink that I thought would be a nice focal point. And then I have this diamond press set that is on their website. I cannot remember the name of it, but you get, I think, literally 3 stamp sets in one set. So it's a ton of stamps. And I decided to use this kind of swirl piece with the dotted edge, and I'm going to add that in to kind of break up some of that white space, but to keep with that same sort of color scheme. I wanted to keep that gold and yellow vibe on this one. So I'm deciding where to put it, and I finally decided down in the bottom would work, and add some little bit of interest to it as well. So I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to bring a piece of bright sunshine ribbon onto my card and tie that on there, this very fine twine from Stamps of Life. And I'm going to make I'm not going to make a bow on this one yet. I decided to stamp and emboss a Don't Worry sentiment that's included in the kit, and I embossed it in gold. It's not a super bright gold, but you can see it. It's on a ginger snap kind of craft cardstock. And it's going to take me a minute to get this through. I actually think I had to pull it through with my teeth because I just couldn't get it through. And that's what teeth are for, right? Anyway, I wanted the little tiny hole. I didn't want a big hole. So you just have to improvise when you need something done in the craft world, right? So then I'm going to tie this. I made it into a little sweet tag, and I'm going to tie that off, and I will finish it by trimming the tails, and I also will add a piece of adhesive to the back. Once I glue it down, I'm going to glue it onto a piece of black cardstock to kind of pop that off the page, and then it will go onto a ginger snap kind of craft card base. I need to straighten up. I had a little crooked, my cutter was acting up today, giving me a hard time, so I had some crooked cuts today, so I've had to do some hand trimming, which is okay. And then I'm going to add this piece of adhesive onto the Don't Worry to finish it off. And then that will be it for this card. So don't throw away your, little extras. You can always do something with them. For this next card, I'm going to go very far from the bees, and I had this kind of watercolor paper from a paper pad that caught my eye in my craft room, and I decided that I would make a spring card with this, specifically an Easter card. So I'm going to run this paper through my diamond press machine with that Slimline folder, and again, it just has that beautiful stitch detail. Hold on to those hexagons too. You can always find something to do with them, right? So put those aside, and then I'm going to use a set from Stampin' Up called Basket Bunch. I know it is retired. It's probably several years old, but I wanted to use it. I found it in shopping my stash, and I thought it would go great with this. So I'm just gluing one end down on this because I want to lay some stuff inside. And instead of trying to, figure it out, fool around with it, I decided to try this and see if it would work. And it worked pretty well. So I left one end open so I could add my cute little bunny, and there's a little tiny chick in there. And then I'm going to also add a basket. There's a basket I cut from pink. And I thought it would kind of frame that opening, even though it's not quite the right size. I thought it was just kind of a neat look. And again, it went with the color scheme of what I was going for. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to that around the edge, not gluing it down, and I'm just making sure I can still stick things in there. So I've got 3 eggs that I stamped from this stamp set, and I'm going to layer those in there. I've got a blue one and a yellow one and a pink one. I'm going to stick that one into the side and then finish with a little smaller pink one on top. There were these cute daffodil stamps in there too, so I stamped one of those. I wanted to fill all of my hexagons. I've got a little egg, and then I'm going to add one more bunny, a pink bunny, in this last one. So I've got a fun, and it was super easy to do. So I had this Easter blessings set from Avery L. I wanted the sentiment, but I did have to cut it in half to make it fit because it was too long for my card. So I just did a little trimming, and I'm testing it out because I don't think I've used that one before. Just making sure also that it was straight and where my placement is. So I'm going to stamp that down in some black ink, archival ink, and then I will glue this down. I trimmed off that bunny on the bottom that was hanging off just a little bit, and then I've got a cute spring card. I'm going to layer this onto a piece of blue and then finish it off with a piece of pink, I should say, with a blue card base. Y'all know what I meant. So I've got the blue cardstock down, and again, my trimmer was just giving me fits today. It just did not want to cooperate. So I had some little stuff hanging off of there too. I'm going to add a little bit more, and that'll be it on this one. I got to add a little bit of that thin twine again in a different color. I've got a pink. So I'm going to tie this on there, and it's giving me a little bit. I got to get it just right so I have enough. I don't want to have a short string like I did earlier. So I'm making sure I've got enough extra ribbon to tie a decent size bow and have a little tail hanging off. So this time it worked out just fine. Okay, so I've got that cute ribbon there. And on this last card, I stamped my background. I just this was just really just kind of a playing with thing. I stamped each color one at a time, working on a rainbow theme. So it's a little kind of edgy and messy on there. I just used a dye ink. I didn't use like a distress ink to try and blend it together. So I just was really playing with it to see what I could do. So I ended up with this kind of fun rainbow, and I decided to add the beehive at the top. I colored that with some of my markers, and then I wanted to use that one of those flowers at the bottom. So I'm just working on placing all of that. I thought it'd be cute to have the beehive up at the top and have my flower garden kind of at the bottom. So I'm going to add that cute little bee. These are ones that I've colored similarly to what I did earlier in the video. I'm going to add this piece of adhesive to the flower, and then I'll need to glue down the sentiments. And that happy comes from another diamond press set. I'm not sure. It might be Seasons. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I just thought it would work well. I wanted to put it with the bee day, and so I'm going to glue. Cut that from red, and then I'm just going to glue that down in that kind of orange color, yellow-orange color, as a good contrast. I felt it showed up pretty well against that yellow. So I've got that glued down, and then I'm going to put my bee, happy bee day. Just so cute, play on words with the birthday. And I'm going to finish this one off with one more bee. And he's going to be coming down looking for that flower. So that's it on that. Really pretty easy. So these are I think I did 6 cards that have a whole range of colors and themes. And I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I look forward to sharing some more with you soon. And let me know which one was your favorite, if you had a favorite, and if you like the hexagons or not. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon.